So, I've been gone for a really long time. It's been super stupid. I know, totally my fault. Because of school, I feel like a total douche because I haven't uploaded anything. So, just wanted you to know that I'm totally going to be uploading more stuff now because I have less classes to deal with and I have more time, and I realized that making videos is just so much fun. So, that aside, this isn't going to be a typical review. It's going to be more of getting into it because I'm getting a new mic so you can actually hear me better. So I'm gonna wait to do the next like big review then. But until then, I'm just gonna do a tiny little testing back into the waters, talking about a game that I really like that I just started playing, which is Walking Dead. So The Walking Dead is a zombie adventure game, which is kind of uncommon. It's mostly, zombies are mostly in action games or first-person shooters or things like that. But I have to admit, being a big adventure game fan, hearing, a zombie apocalypse adventure game sounded really cool to me. And it's based off of the show, which I guess The Walking Dead, the show is based off of The Walking Dead, the comic. So, it's got to be pretty good, I think, because I've heard a lot of people saying that the show is really awesome. So I haven't seen or read either, but I really like the game. I think it's pretty awesome. Each episode is only $5, and there's 5 episodes. 2 have been released. 1 is, I think, in production. So I played the first one because it's $5. Like, what am I gonna lose, right? So I played the first episode, and just letting you know, this is gonna be kind of spoilers in this because I'm gonna go into detail about what happened. So one of the things about The Walking Dead that's kind of awesome is that the choice engine is so important to the story instead of just being kind of like, oh, you picked this so your character wears different clothes, or something like that. No, it's actually kind of awesome. And I know there are lots of games that say, oh, the consequences will be really important, and then you find out that they really aren't that important. Admittedly, it does kind of do that adventure game thing where occasionally you'll make a choice and it'll go, oh, that choice isn't canon, we don't want to do that, so they'll, make it kind of, there's no reason for you to have picked that. But it does a lot better job than most games. But it's as if some choices were supposed to be picked, like, they gave you the choice, but they thought, oh, well, it doesn't matter, nobody's gonna pick that one anyway. And then for the people like me who did pick it, then they're like, oh shit, like, you weren't supposed to pick that, like, why did you do that? The option is only there to make it seem like there's an option. Like, for example, the first really big decision is where you have to rescue, there's 2 people, there's a little boy and a grown man, and they're both being, dragged apart by zombies, and it's like, choose which one you want to save. And, it's a heavy decision because you don't know either of these people, and it's like, oh shit, you want to make friends with everyone. You don't want to get, fucked up. And right before, the guy who's being pulled, the adult, his dad, had just given you the speech like, you're going to have to depend on the kindness of strangers, and I don't like you, and you're real suspicious. So it's kind of like, oh shit, who are you going to save, So I saved the little boy because, it seems like you should probably save, children. This other guy is cool, but I don't know. You have 5 seconds to decide, So then after that, of course, I got kicked off the farm. But the boy's parents gave me a cool ride because they were grateful to me for helping save the little boy, so that was cool. Second decision is another one of those, you have to save someone. And it was between these 2 people who I don't really know either of them that well. I mean, I'd spent more time with this one lady and less time with this one guy. But they both kind of had equal, skills. Like, one is good at shooting and one is good at, technology. So it's kind of like, oh, well, I guess either could be beneficial. It wasn't so much who's more beneficial as, like, who are you going to save? I think this is one of those stupid, biased ones because the guy is being held against a window like this, right? Like, ugh! And he's got, like, 6 zombies on him, like, holding him down. And the lady is standing over there, and she's like, I got my gun! And she has her gun, and she's like, oh no, I have no bullets, oh! And, like, yeah, but she's got 1 zombie holding onto her ankle, going like, and she's going, I can't! And, like, immediately it's like, choose who you want to save. And it's like, lady, she's wearing heels, first of all. She's wearing heels in a zombie apocalypse, why? But she could easily have stamped on the zombie's head. Meanwhile, this guy is being, like, pulled out of a window by 4 zombies, so I figure, okay, she can probably just get herself out of this one. She's proven to be pretty capable. So I picked the guy because he seems like he needs a lot more help. So I did that, and the lady, of course, gets eaten alive, and it's really awful and gruesome, and like, oh god. After I beat it the first time, I was kind of skeptical, and the second episode hadn't been released yet, so I said, oh, I'll just play him again. So I went back, did it again, and this is where I mean that it gets kind of stupid, because the first choice where you have to pick between the little boy and the adult, it doesn't matter who you pick because the little boy always lives and the guy always dies. So this time I tried to save the guy, and the little boy's dad like grabs him and pulls him off, and it's like, that would have been nice to know, you know, like, thanks for giving me this warning that like, oh, the dad's gonna save him anyway, like, so don't bother, it's cool. It's like, wow, way to make me realize my choices have no real weight in this world. So then I had, you know, the same thought with the second part, which is, oh, I'll save the guy, it doesn't matter, the girl's gonna die anyway. So that actually didn't happen. I did get the girl. Lee runs up to her and throws the bullets at her. He like goes into her purse, and he could have just handed her the purse and been like, okay, reload, I'm gonna go save Doug. But no! He's like, oh, let me get the, here you go, and then like stands there, and she's like, okay, let me reload. I can kill him. And meanwhile, the other guy's like, I'm being killed! And everyone's like, oh, sorry, we can only save one person. Ugh. The choices that you make in the real world, I think they would have quite different reactions than they do in this game. Like I said, it does a much better job than some games do, but it still kind of suffers from that, oh, well, we don't really have the memory of you doing that. Like, they still do a good job. A lot of the times they go, oh, like, there's a little thing in the corner that'll be like, Kenny will remember that you were loyal to him, and then, like, he does, you know. But for the most part, a lot of it is, like, characters have selective memory about what happened. For example, more spoilers, sorry. There's this old guy who is the dad of this woman you just met, and he's, like, this huge, huge dick. Like, I've never been more upset with a character in a game, I don't think, in a while at least. He's this horrible, horrible old man who, like, is really buff and really scary, and he has this heart condition. And he literally is, like, yelling at this little boy, like, you're gonna kill your mom, and, like, we should murder this little boy, and everyone's like, no, you're not doing that. And, of course, you know, my Lee was like, you're not fucking doing that, sit down. Holy shit, no, I was not gonna stand for that. So this guy needs heart medication or else he's gonna die. So the entire bulk of that part of the episode is getting this asshole his heart medication. I don't know why everybody's so set on getting it for him anyway, because he's such a dick. And then at the end, when we're all about to escape, after I got him his fucking heart medicine, he goes, you're not coming with us, you son of a bitch, and poof, and he like decks you and literally leaves you to die in the drugstore. And it's like, what? And then, in the second part of the episode, people are like, oh, don't hate my dad, he's not that bad, he's a good person. And it's like, does anybody remember the time in episode 1 where he tried to murder me? Why didn't you give my dad food? He didn't give my dad food, that's not cool. Why are you doing it? Because your dad tried to murder me! Were you there? I was there because I almost died, you stupid bitch! Ugh! Also, some of the choices are just common sense, like, obviously, if you're gonna be stuck in a room with a guy who could turn into a zombie, you're gonna kill him before he turns into a zombie. But it's immoral, he could not be dead. No, you can't take that chance. He could easily rip all of you apart because he's like this 300-pound buff dude. No, you're not gonna let him live. And sorry, I'm biased because he tried to kill me. So just putting that out there. No sympathy for that guy. None at all. The suspense isn't, I guess, all that suspenseful. The big plot twist in episode 2 is like, oh, yeah. Anybody who's seen a zombie movie knows that if somebody fucking starts telling you that you can all come and eat at their place, and then one of your friends goes missing, and they're like, oh, he's fine, it's just upstairs, come and have dinner, you kind of might start to suspect that they cooked him and are going to eat him and feed them to your children. I really like the characters. I think they're all really relatable, even ones that don't do as much, like Katya. I was really invested in her character, you know, and Duck. These people that they're like side characters, but still, you really want to see everything happen, come through with them. The action can be a little bit sticky because it's an adventure game, so obviously you're gonna have to search around a little bit and be like, what am I interacting with? And in quick time events, it can be really, really, really confusing what you're supposed to be doing. But it shouldn't take you more than once. I think I died like twice, and it was during, you know, scenes where I was like, what am I supposed to be grabbing? Oh god! Ah! But it's not really that bad. Actually, some of the choices with your companions can be really, really interesting, I think. There's this backstory that your character, Lee, who's actually an awesome character, is a criminal who's in jail for murdering his wife because she slept with a senator. So, you know, it's like a crime of passion kind of thing. But up until now, even I've played both episodes, and I don't really even know the details about it besides that the dad knows and the reporter knows. Actually, it was probably a good idea to let the reporter die, because she did know about you being... Fuck! In my opinion, actually, the person who had the most interesting morality conversations was Clementine. To be honest, throughout the whole thing, her opinion was really the only one that I cared about, because she's this little girl who you're trying to defend. I don't know if this was the intention, but you know, you got Kenny, who's your bro, and you got whoever you saved, Doug or Harley, and you know, you obviously want everybody to like you, because you don't want people turning on you. Clementine is this little girl who's your responsibility, and she trusts you implicitly, even when you don't, you know, always do the right thing, which I thought was really interesting, because even though she's, you know, this girl you have no real relationship with, I cared so much about what she thought of me. Like, I remember when she asked me if I was a bad guy, like, my heart, like, broke a little bit, and I was like, no, Clementine, I just do bad things, but I'm not a bad person. Part of that, I think, is really interesting, because it shows her development as a character. Like, for example, there's the segment in the second episode where you find a car full of supplies, and everybody, you know, obviously adults, we gotta, you know, take the stuff because we're all gonna die. They've been without food for like 3 months. Nobody really eats anything. So everybody's starving, and it's like, we need the provisions, you know. Clementine, you know, doesn't want to take it because it's someone else's stuff and she doesn't want to steal. And the conversation where you have to convince her that it's not bad to steal from other people was just... I don't know why it made me so uncomfortable. Like, the whole rest of the game, you can chop off a guy's leg on camera, and that made me less uncomfortable. Actually, that made me really fucking uncomfortable. But having that conversation with Clementine where I had to tell her that we weren't stealing it, we were just borrowing it, and she should help carry some of it because it's just what we need, and we're not bad people. Those people might die, but we can't really deal with that. That was just really hard for me. And I think that's a sign of a good game if you can get your player to really start sympathizing, you know, with the morality of the other players and like really starting to feel their strain too. So I'm really excited to play the rest of them. I want to see how they turn out. Psyched! That was, you know, just a little taste of me coming back. Just wanted to check in with you guys. As usual, feel free to send me ideas about what you want to see reviewed. I have Steam now, so I can play a ton of games on there. The next review is going to be really, really soon, I hope. I'm going to wait for the mic, but if it takes too long, then I'll just do it the way I used to, and hopefully it won't be too bad. So yeah, that's it. Look forward to more. I missed you guys like crazy. Mwah. Okay, see you later. Bye.
Hey, yo, finally! Is this what you've been waiting for? Brand new GD! I'm all by myself, but it's so good.
Oh, y'all come down. We got lots of milk and bread at our dairy farm. And it's like, oh, okay, I don't think that you do.